The question many have been asking is, African nations ready to make their own nuclear weapons, or is it time for African nations to make their own nuclear weapons? The decision to develop nuclear weapons is a complex and a multifaceted issue. And it is important to note that not all African nations have the same strategic considerations or security concerns. However, there are several reasons why African nations as a whole have been reluctant to pursue nuclear weapons. Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. The majority of African nations are parties to the NPT, an international treaty aimed at preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. By joining the treaty, these countries have committed to not acquiring nuclear weapons and to pursuing peaceful uses of nuclear energy. This commitment reflects a broader global effort to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons. One of the reasons is regional stability. Many African nations have prioritized regional stability and cooperation over military escalation. Nuclear weapons can introduce a volatile element to the security dynamics of a region, potentially leading to an arms race and increased tensions. African nations have generally sought to resolve conflicts through diplomatic means and regional organizations rather than through military force. Second, economic priorities. African nations often face significant socio-economic challenges, including poverty, infrastructure development, and healthcare. Allocating resources to the development of nuclear weapons and the associated infrastructure can be prohibitively expensive and divert funds from addressing pressing domestic needs. Third, international relations. Pursuing nuclear weapons could strain diplomatic relations with other countries, particularly those that are nuclear armed or have strong non-proliferation policies. African nations have generally sought to maintain positive diplomatic relations and avoid actions that could isolate them or invite international sanctions. Third, peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Some African nations have shown interest in developing nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, such as electricity generation and medical applications. These countries may focus their efforts on building nuclear power plants and developing nuclear technologies for civilian use rather than pursuing nuclear weapons. It is important to note that individual countries' circumstances and security concerns vary, and there might be some exceptions to the general trend. Nevertheless, these factors, along with a desire to promote regional stability, economic development, and international cooperation, have contributed to the overall reluctance of African nations to pursue nuclear weapons.